Spring practice is officially underway for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Tim May, the 41-year vet, Andy Backstrom, and me, Spencer Holbrook, were on hand to watch the first 30 minutes of the first spring practice. And then we had to go inside and write about it while the Buckeyes finished practice out here on the Woody Hayes Athletic Center indoor turf. Then Ryan Day and Chip Kelly joined us in the meeting room for a press conference, and we're here to talk about it. It is a glorious occasion, a national holiday. Spread the good news. Ohio State football is officially back. Tim, big takeaway.
My big takeaway was I'm sitting there in that interview room, or the players' meeting room there, going, holy smoke, that's Chip Kelly standing there, and he's the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, working for what I call him his favorite nephew, Ryan Day. They're not kin, but they might as well be because he's known him since he was this high. And then the other takeaway is you heard me ask Ryan Day, and to a certain extent Chip Kelly, is I used the word assemblage, which is probably not even a word.
I don't think it is, Tim.
Of talent, as we got to watch warm-ups. And forget about the guys who are all coming back, because that's huge in his own right. But Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith, and right on down the line, Quinshon Judkins. And that's my takeaway is, wow, this is a ripe apple. You know what I mean? Are they ready to take a big bite out of major college football this year and maybe get the job done? But it's pretty amazing. And that's not hyperbole. Like I said, the main thing they got to get figured out is their offensive line and get that going. Coming out of spring, I think that's important. That's what stands out still to me about this. That's the one question I've got about this team, about it being elite, the elite of the elite. But it's in the elite category already from talent on hand, or in my terms, the assemblage of talent.
So the way we did things at Lettermen Row today, and maybe we'll do things a little differently in the future, Tim was able to roam, watch whatever he needed to at practice because he's the 41-year vet. He does whatever the hell he wants. Andy takes the offense, I took the defense. The observations from the defense from me are on the website right now at lettermenrow.com. Andy Backstrom's offensive observations are also on lettermenrow.com. Andy, I will ask you about the offense. I don't want to pigeonhole you, but what did you learn from the Ohio State offense from just watching 20 minutes of the first practice?
Well, Ryan Day said they had 150 reps total for the quarterbacks. It's a crowded quarterback room, so you need as many reps as you can get.
Is that 30 each?
Something like that. But yeah, in the quarterback line, it was Devin Brown first in line, then it was Will Howard. Don't read too much into that. Look, Devin Brown's the most experienced in this system. He's been around for a little bit now. He knows Ryan Day's offensive system. Will Howard's still new, still learning things. He also has to earn this. He still has a black stripe on his helmet. Yeah. He has to earn the quarterback run role if he's going to get it here at Ohio State. But by all accounts, he's very focused. He won an award. One of the several players here at Ohio State recognized for their work in the weight room with Nick Marotti. So clearly he's earning the respect of his teammates. But again, it went in that order: Devin Brown, then Will Howard, then Lincoln Kienholz, then Julian Sayin, then Aaron Noland. Just going through work on the first day of spring practice. Also, Jeremiah Smith stood out, literally. Just 6'3", 215 pounds. He's someone that you can't miss. I mean, last year we were talking about Jelani Thurman, had that kind of feel to him. This year it's Jeremiah Smith. You walk out here, you see him. We saw him the other day, catching passes on the Monarch machine. Just stands out. But really a lot of talent offensively. The running backs definitely caught my attention. They all look big. Dallin Hayden seems to put on even more muscle.
Yeah.
He put on muscle last offseason and has even more this time around. Quinshon Judkins looks really fast as a runner and as a receiver. And then that group was, of course, led by Travion Henderson. So just a lot of talent here. And then even a cameo appearance by Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know if you guys caught him, but he was actually peering down at the field from the cafeteria area here. Just can't stay away from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center.
No, he's waiting to get off. Everybody gets off field so he can get on that Monarch machine.
Well, yeah. But
he'll be out here. He'll be out here shortly, working on it. I am sure of it. On the defensive side of the ball, it is incredible to come out here and watch the first practice and see each of the position groups, and I wrote about this, each of the position groups were all spearheaded and led. The first person to take each of the first reps was a returning starter from last year.
Yeah.
Even Cody Simon, who we don't really consider a starter, played a lot of football last year, especially at the end of the year. Steel Chambers
is what I refer to
as Steel Chambers and him kind of swapped positions there. As time went on, they kind of split duty there. Every single group had at least one starter, and all of them except for linebacker, multiple starters at the front of the line.
Yeah.
That does not happen at Ohio State. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
To have this much talent return, it was apparent when you walked out here. You could feel already something is kind of brewing here. Like you said, Tim, you've got to get some things figured out. But that's the defensive observation. And then I can't believe we've taken this much time to say it. Sonny Styles playing linebacker. He's the biggest linebacker on the roster already.
Yeah.
6'3", 235 pounds. 6'4", 235 pounds. He runs like a deer. He catches people maybe like a cheetah. It is crazy what he can do. And just watching him in the turnover drills, where you're working on stripping the ball, picking it up, running with it, like you see that side-to-side speed. You see what he can do. East, west, north, south. It doesn't really matter what you ask him to do. Sonny Styles is going to do it, and now he's going to do it as a linebacker. Apparently, it was very, very clear that the defensive bar is set extremely high.
The pieces they've got on hand, like I was talking with Bo Bishop about this after our window closed. I was on with him on radio, and just the pieces they've got on hand, what they can do. Like when I asked Chip Kelly. He had a little conversation with Tim Walton and Caleb Downs before practice really started. They were standing there talking, and Chip Kelly said what he was saying to him was, I was just, I'd like to get this guy over on the offensive side, because like he said, you turn on Caleb Downs' highlight tape from high school when he played offense a lot too. Just what a stud football player the guy is. But it's just right on down the line, like you said with Sonny Styles, they can run a 4-3-4 defense. They can morph right into a 4-2-5 defense from play to play without changing anybody on the field. That's what he brings to the table. And if C.J. Hicks comes along, I think you've noticed that C.J. Hicks and Cody were the first two linebackers to line up in whatever drill they were running, because obviously we didn't get to see any real football today. But if C.J. Hicks comes along, just I think you agree with me, the possibilities from scheming standpoint are off the chart on both offensively and defensively. And that's not hyperbole, man.
No.
I'm telling you, this is a loaded football team. It's crazy.
Yeah, I promised when I lifted my head off the pillow this morning, I promised that this year I was going to finally do it and not be hyperbolic in spring ball. And then I walk in here and see number 2 in white, Caleb Downs, and it's like, well, never mind. Throw that plan
just on
out
a practice field, you got to be impressed, right?
Throw that plan out the window. I'm going to be hyperbolic all year. This team can win a national title. Andy, talk to Ryan Day, talk to Chip Kelly. We can't really discount that. We did see practice, which makes it extremely hard to focus on the interviews because we got to see football, and it's March, and you don't get to see football in March. But big Ryan Day takeaways. Do you have any that stick out to you from Ryan Day, maybe from Chip Kelly? There's a lot to take in there.
Yeah, one major point I wanted to mention that Ryan Day did talk about is Luke Montgomery is really coming along, and someone they like at the guard spot. He was a tackle for a bit last year. They like his skill set at guard, and with kind of like a shell of the first team offense, we saw him out there where Matt Jones used to be. Now, of course, he's off trying to make a career in the NFL. So Luke Montgomery, just keep an eye on him. He added some more weight this offseason, seems to really taking that next step. But yeah, Ryan Day, you talked about, right, this idea of being the CEO. And we've talked about this in videos before, but this was his first practice back out here, getting that feel. He just said he was more present, just felt like he was getting to be more involved defensively. I saw him, taking a poke at the ball security drill, just throwing a hand in there from time to time, and he wasn't as much with the quarterbacks as we've seen in the past. Chip Kelly was pretty hands-on with those quarterbacks, which was cool to see. And I think that he's really trusting Chip Kelly in that role. Chip Kelly has a strong offensive background, especially with the offensive line. But when you're an offensive coordinator and a head coach, as long as Chip Kelly was, you work with quarterbacks. Yeah. And I think, Ryan Day said it best. Look, he was my quarterback coach. Like, he coached me when I was at UNH as the offensive coordinator. So he trusts Chip Kelly so much, and I think that was just abundantly clear from Ryan Day's press conference.
But it's interesting watching Ryan walk around the field, because we are here kind of spelunking, what's going on. And 1 minute he's over with Matt Guerrero over here with the safeties and stuff, and just sort of like, you wonder whether Matt Guerrero feels his presence, you know what I mean? Right. The new safeties coach. And then the next thing he's watching the corners. That's why I asked him about, is this as impressive? How could you not be impressed by what you're seeing, not just player-wise, but coach-wise? Chip Kelly's on this field now. Tim Walton is like even more, I think, ascended. And you've got, Butkus Award winner James Laurinaitis leading your linebacker room now. And Jim Knowles, we all know where Ryan Day holds him in esteem, and the ability to think through things, think through problems, but come up with schemes, etc. And Ryan's got to be sitting there going, like I said, all we can do is screw this up. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. And it's almost one of those things where he's thinking, all right, the main thing you don't want to do is overcoach this situation, right?
Yeah.
And I think Chip Kelly gets that too. Chip Kelly's a great innovator and stuff, but he's great at using what he's got and getting the most out of it. Whether he was at UCLA or Oregon, wherever you want to look, where he's been a head coach, except for those years he was at Philadelphia and San Francisco in the National Football League. He never really got a chance to spread his wings. Neither did Ryan Day really in that regard. But yeah, it's you like you said, you get up in the morning, you go, all right, I'm gonna look at this very objectively. I think we are looking at it objectively. The objective part comes in. Okay, now what are you going to do? You know, with this group. I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting moment in Ohio State football history, and definitely in Ryan Day history.
Yeah, it's like putting a Twix bar in front of me while I'm on a diet too.
Yeah.
It's like I know I can't eat that, but then I see it. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to eat it. Like I know that I can't tell them.
But you still got to have the discipline
to
work out after you eat it.
I know I can't tell these people on camera like, hey, this team's going to win the national championship. It's March.
It should be.
It's March 5th. But like, come on, guys. Like the talent here is crazy. My big takeaway, Andy, and I'm going to throw it back to you about Chip Kelly is like he kind of squashed the narrative that he left UCLA just because he wants to be a ball coach. He said that there's a lot of like things involved in that. It's not just because he wants to not have to do NIL and recruiting. Like he still has to do that here. He loves coaching football, and as a head coach, he felt like he was getting pulled out of meetings. He felt like he wasn't able to do things that he wanted to do. He was happiest in his entire life, or maybe since like 2008, he said, and his wife pointed that out to him, that he was coaching quarterbacks during the bowl game prep against Boise State that UCLA ultimately won.
Yep.
And all of those factors led him to do this. It wasn't one thing or one thing only. He's got he's just an interesting guy, and listening to him talk today kind of peels back the onion and peels back the curtain, I guess, on what he sees his role in this offense like and what he sees maybe his coaching future like. I thought it was an eye-opening interview from Chip Kelly.
Yeah, he wanted to be happy. That was just the main point of it. Like, that's the goal of life for him, and right now, like, he wants to coach the rest of his life, and to do that, he wants to be happy in it, and it seems like a place where he can be happy, and just being a position coach and focusing on calling plays and doing what he does best as an innovator. I mean, that was talked about a lot in this press conference, his reputation of adapting and learning around the game and trying to evolve. I mean, everyone knows the up-tempo days of Oregon, but that's long in the past now.
Yeah.
They mix all sorts of stuff in. He's done a lot with the wide zone running game at UCLA. Mm-hmm. He has just grown as the game has grown. And I think that he's a trendsetter. I mean, he talked about it when he left college football. Oregon was the only team that really had those shiny helmets and the fast-paced offense. And then he comes back in 2017, and it's every team has the shiny helmets and the fast-paced offense.
As he pointed out, Nick Saban was one of those leading the charge of do away with this fast-paced offense. Give us time to breathe in between plays. And of course, then Nick Saban went from being a critic to a disciple. In that regard. That's the thing about. This is what stands out about Chip Kelly. I don't think we're overselling Chip Kelly, because obviously he had some problems at UCLA getting that consummate team together more than anything else, really. Like I said, the assemblage of talent, that's tough to do at most places. But he's always thinking about the next thing. That doesn't mean he's going to come in and just have some formation you've never seen before, but he's always thinking about. Exactly, but the main thing is he's always, because you could stay ahead of the game by just putting little nuanced things in, like you saw him lining up in the, just in the warm-ups. You saw the quarterbacks and the running backs in the center. You saw them lining up in what I call it the cock pistol, and all of a sudden they're shifting into under center. Just little things like that. I mean, other teams do that kind of stuff, but that's what he brings to the program every day. Is he's always thinking ahead. Where can we get an advantage this week? Where can we get an advantage this year with just little switcheroos? And, it's going to be an interesting season.
One of the fun things about the first day of spring is there's almost no X's and O's involved. It's really just get out here. We get to watch some of it. There's not a lot of plays going on. It's a lot of individual stuff. We go in with Ryan Day. You talk about feel more than you do X's and O's, and I love that.
But like Ryan Day even said, Chip's already brought something to the running game, some little changes that are going to be interesting to watch.
For sure. But
I'm with you.
When we go in there on the first day and even the second day before spring break, and the Buckeyes will come back, and then we'll start to talk a little bit more like talk and ball. But like right now, it's like, hey, how does it feel? What does this feel like? How are you, compartmentalizing this, and this? And it gives you an idea of like where this team is right now. And this is a confident bunch. that we're all excited to cover. This is why we just went maybe a little longer than we expected.
Sorry
Tim May.
about that.
No, it's not your fault, Tim, at all. We let you have the floor, buddy. Tim May, the 41-year vet, Andy Backstrom, and me, Spencer Holbrook. I got to get these guys out of here. They're going to talk our legs off for, I don't know, we could talk for 5 hours about what we saw today. We won't do that. We might talk about it tomorrow, and we definitely will talk about it Thursday when they let us back in here. We'll have full coverage of Ohio State spring practice on Thursday at LettermenRow.com and every day at LettermenRow.com. $1 for your first month over there. Come join us at the Letterman Lounge message board. It's popping off. Andy Backstrom, Tim May, Spencer Holbrook. We're here, Ohio State, opening spring practice on Tuesday. We'll have more at LettermenRow.com. Come join us there.